We're going to start at page 144 with the bluest eye by Toni Morrison. We've entered a tentative hey. They responded with another. The 15-year-old named Jake offered Charlie a rolled up cigarette. Charlie took it, but when he held the cigarette at arm's length and stuck the tip of it into the match flame, instead of putting it in his mouth and drawing on it, they laughed at him. Shamefaced, he threw the cigarette down. He felt it important to do something to reinstate himself with Jake. So when he asked Charlie if he knew any girls, Charlie said sure. All the girls Charlie knew were at the banquet, and he pointed to a cluster of them standing, hanging, draping on the black porch. Darlene, too. Charlie hoped Jake wouldn't pick her. Let's get some and walk around, said Jake. The two boys sauntered over to the porch. Charlie didn't know how to begin. Jake wrapped his legs around the porch rail and just sat there, staring off into space. And though he had no interest in them at all, he was letting them look him over and guardedly evaluating them in return. The girls pretended they didn't see the boys and kept on chattering. Soon their talk got sharp. Their gentle teasing they had been engaged and with each other changed to bitchiness, a serious kind of making fun. That was Jake's clue. The girls were reacting to him. They had gotten a whiff of his manhood and were shivering for a place in his attention. Jake left the porch rail and walked right up to a girl named Suki, the one who had been most bitter and her making fun. Want to show me round? He didn't even smile. Charlie held his breath, waiting for Suki to shut awake Jacob. She was good at that, and well known for her sharp tongue. To his enormous surprise, she really agreed, and even lowered her lashes, taking courage. Charlie turned to Darlene and said, "Come along. We're just going down to the gully." He waited for her to screw up her face and say no. Oh, what for? Or some such thing. His feelings about her were mostly fear. Fear that she would not like him, and fear that she would. His second fear materialized. She smiled and jumped down the three leaning steps to join him. Her eyes were full of compassion, and Charlie remembered that he was the bereaved. If you want to, she said, but not too far. Mama said we got to leave early, and it's getting dark. The four of them moved away. Some of the other boys had come to the porch and were about to begin. At partly hostile, partly indifferent, partly desperate, meaning dance. Suki, Jake, Darlene, and Charlie walked through several backyards until they came to an open field. They ran across it and came to a dry riverbed lined with green. The object of the walk was a wild vineyard where the mescaline grew, too new, too tight to have much sugar. They were eating anyway. None of them wanted it. Not then. The grapes, easy relinquishing of all its dark juice, the restraint, the holding up, the promise of sweetness that had yet to unfold. Beside them more than full ripeness would have done. At least their teeth were on edge, and the boys themselves by pelting the girls with the grapes. Their slim black boy wrists made G clefs in the air as they executed the tosses. The chase took Charlie and Darlene away from the lip of the goalie, and when they paused for breath, Jake and Suki were nowhere in sight. Darlene's white cotton dress was streaming with juice. Her big blue hair bow had come undone, and the sundown breeze was picking it up and fluttering it about her head. They were out of breath and sank down in the green and purple grass on the edge of the pine woods. Charlie lay on his back painting, his mouth full of the taste of muscaline, listening to the pine needles rustling loudly in the anticipation of rain. The smell of promised rain, pine, and muscadine made him giddy. The sun had gone and pulled away its shreds of light. Turning the head to see where the moon was, Charlie caught sight of Darlene in moonlight behind him. She was huddled into her deep arms encircling drawn-up knees, on which she rested her head. Charlie could see her bloomers and the muscles of her young thighs. "We better get on back," he said. Yes, she stretched her legs flat on the ground and began to retie her hair ribbon. "Mama going with me?" "No, she ain't." "Uh-huh. She told me she would if I get dirty." "You ain't dirty." "I am too. Look at that." She dropped her hands from the ribbon and smoothed out a place on her dress where the grape stains were heaviest. Charlie felt sorry for her. It was just as much his fault. Suddenly, he realized that Aunt Jimmy was dead, for amidst the fear of being whipped, there was nobody to do except Uncle O.B., and he was the bereaved too. That means, he said. He rose to his knees, facing her, and tried to tie her ribbon. Darlene put her hands under his open shirt and rubbed the damp, tight skin. When he looked at her in surprise, she stopped and laughed. So we're going to stop at page 147. That was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. If y'all don't read, this is a good book to start. You know, I was in 2-month coma. I needed help with my reading and delivering my words correctly. And this was one of the books I picked up. And it helped me with my vocabulary, my delivery, and everything. So yeah, enjoy y'all day. Keep thriving. The best yet to come with Global.